Hello. This week, let's study universal design and accessibility. Our kitchen and bath designs are meant to be used by people of all shapes, sizes, types, and abilities. And so the first thing we're going to talk about are the human factors that we need to take into account in our design. Then we'll be more specific about what universal design is and what it isn't, right? And then talk about each of these 7 principles of universal design and how they can be applied to kitchen and baths. Finally, we will open up our NKBA guideline book and take a look at the accessibility standards that underlie all of the access standards in our guidelines. So let's start with those human factors. Anthropometric and ergonometric information, all right? And different studies of the human body and how it moves are going to help guide the design of our spaces. This information, this data, forms the basic concepts of universal design and therefore is essential to good kitchen and bath planning. What kind of data are we talking about? It's called, and let's see if I can even say this, functional anthropometry. All right, anthropometry, maybe that. And it is the measurement of the body, the human body, in motion. This includes height and reach ranges, um, people can reach from which position. These ranges will vary with stature, how tall someone is. They'll vary with physical ability. Not everybody can reach above their shoulder joint, for example. And they also vary with obstructions. If you have to reach up and over, or you have to reach over and then down an obstruction, it makes you not able to reach as far. The height and reach range information or data is useful to us as kitchen and bath designers for planning storage, the fixtures, appliances, where they are, and also for locating the controls of different objects. The next body of data about bodies that we're interested in is range of joint motion. All right, how can we stretch? This is all about movement and flexibility, and it helps us develop a space that works for a specific client, maybe one who doesn't have a full range of motion. The final part of this puzzle is comfort zone. You might have heard this called body buffer zone, and it's how close do people want to get to each other, all right, in different situations. And this comfort zone actually varies quite wildly based on psychological factors, an individual person's personality, and also cultural differences. So the personal or close zone of comfort zone is most applicable to kitchen and bath design. We're not building public spaces in this class. And here's an illustration of some of that range of motion studies that have been done. Can your clients tilt, bend, stretch? What exactly can they reach? So now we move into universal design. Universal design builds on those ergonometric data that we just collected and uses it to improve the use of products, spaces like kitchens and baths, and systems for people of all sizes, all ages, and all abilities. Universal design is inclusive and equitable, meaning that it meets the needs of a great number and variety of people. Right? When we're talking about universal design, we are not just talking to medical solutions for specific access challenges, such as someone in a wheelchair. So here we have an illustration of a bathroom using universal design principles. There is flexibility to sit or stand at the lav area. All right, you've got some knee space. And there is visual cueing at the toe kick. Take a look right here. All right, that is part of the tolerance for error, part of universal design. And the tall storage has visible cueing. All right, you can see what's in there. And finally, the mirror. Let's see, where is the mirror? I don't see the mirror. Um, but it is appropriate for people of different stature, different heights. So let's dispel some universal design myths. First of all, some people think universal design is just designed for people in wheelchairs. No, actually, a kitchen or bath that has universal design is accessible to people of most sizes, shapes, and abilities, and therefore it applies to people in general, tall or short, young or old. The next myth is that universal design only helps people with disabilities or older people. In reality, universal design helps everyone eventually, right? Frail people, pregnant women, children, even people traveling with too much to carry, all right? Your hands are full of groceries. Wouldn't it be great if you could move through the space? Some people think that universal design costs more than traditional design. And this one is a yes or no. All right, you can always spend more. But it turns out there are many standard products that work well with universal design concepts, and the degree of customization of design and the degree of quality of products has the most, cost impact, not necessarily the universal qualities. Finally, some people think that universal design is stigmatizing because it looks medical. But it turns out that the best universal design is invisible. It's just good design. And when you do it well, universal design can enhance the appearance and the personality of a space. So, what's the difference between universal design and accessibility? Where does the ADA come into all of this? Well, it turns out that access related standards like the ADA, which I'm going to talk about in a later video, all right, are minimum criteria for access for people specifically with disabilities. And they are applicable for public spaces. The access related standards can be a starting point for design parameters that then support your universal design thinking. Right? The NKBA access standards in those guidelines are based on the ANSI or International Code Council standards, all right, which are also what the ADA is built on. All right, so they all kind of work together. But universal design, and now we're drawing from your kitchen planning textbook, universal design is specifically an approach that accommodates a wide range of people and all of their different abilities. All right, it's invisible, it's attractive, it can have broad market appeal because everyone can use it, and it's specifically flexible. So ease of use for the range of different and diverse abilities that people have. As opposed to accessible design, all right, it's a little bit more narrow. Accessible design responds to the particular requirements of a person with specific characteristics and specific needs. It can be attractive. You can absolutely design this to look attractive, but it targets a much more narrow audience. Right? In this course and in kitchen and bath design in general, you are typically building for a private individual and not for the public, and therefore universal design is more applicable. Thanks, everyone. In this video, we just covered the human factors and data that inform our design and how universal design um, targets the entire range of human abilities and helps us serve our clients in the best way.